Good evening, everyone. I just want to try a little experiment here. We're listening to 880 from New York City, just in the background here. This is using the Sangean ATS909x2 on its internal ferrite antenna. It's a pretty good angle to get it in here at the edge of my desk. As you can hear, the computer is on, and there's a lot of electronics in here. So let's try an external antenna. And here is the, let's see, my cable's a bit short for that, but here's the box for the MLA30 Plus that's outside. It's set for a direction that's really intended for shortwave listening, so it's intended to null out as much of the internal noise as possible, but it does point pretty well straight at New York City in that process.
And Richard Bury say the report recommends discounts to encourage mass transit travel.
A number of New Yorkers.
So that's really excellent. I have the hidden behind here is the RF gain. I've got that all the way up.
And transportation. In Lower Manhattan, I'm Juliette Papa, WCBS News Radio 880.
So I'm really always very happy
in New York City
with the performance of the Sangean with the MLA30 Plus as an external AM antenna.
Uber sued the City Taxi and Limousine Commission on Friday to stop the agency's new...
The other radio that I sometimes use in this sort of way, and I'll just get the Sangean out of the way for a moment. Maybe the white balance will be a little better without... I'm going to use... One of my biggest complaints about the PL330 is its lack of a stand. So that's the 330. It seems like to be turned a little bit more, but pretty decent. Now, of course, if you plug an antenna in to the PL330, nothing's going to happen because, as it's usually used, it doesn't use an external antenna for medium wave listening. But there is an undocumented feature that allows you to change that.
Was walking home with his sister from a nearby park and died a few days later. Here is Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison.
Now, if you hold down, I'm sorry, I'm pressing the wrong button. It won't work. If you hold down 3, it will switch over and bring in the external antenna.
Up to $5,000 for information that leads to an arrest. In quorum, Sophia Hall, WCBS News Radio 880.
So that really improves its
CBS News business analyst
its response quite a bit.
Good value for your hard-earned money.
And not just because I didn't look before. Let's have a look. So we're bouncing between, we're getting up to about 12 dB.
Like the relief you'll enjoy from Salon Pause pain-relieving patches. People that used Salon Pause reported less pain with improvement in mood, sleep, and the ability to work. Life is better.
So as you can see,
you can live better.
The signal is much weaker, although the radio is probably pulling. The antenna's coupling a little bit, even when it's not plugged in. So one thing that I don't know, and this will be interesting to you. Oops. So oddly enough, even with no antenna connected, you get something.
And we do have construction work jamming up the eastbound LIE tonight between Willis Ave and Glen Cove Road.
I'm just going to shut it off again because channel A or channel S or 5, I'm not sure what those mean. We could try 770. Of course, I have shut it off, so there we go. There's the external antenna. And it's not actually helping very much for 770, which is doing better with the internal antenna. Quite interesting. So now let's make that comparison on the Sangean as well. Let's turn that down, get this out of the way. One of the things that I have noted when using lots of portable radios next to each other is that so let's keep the antenna off. Let's go down to 770. That's also from New York.
Campaign will decide the fate of our entire nation, and we must win. I'm asking each of you.
Let's please not have Trump, but so on 770, look at the signal. The signal's actually stronger on the internal antenna. Possibly the, let's go back to 880 here. I haven't looked at the signal strength yet. The signal strength is quite good indoors. In fact, it's going up.
He defined as a potential lack of
but the noise level, if you look, the signal level doesn't change much.
Online news site thecity.nyc is reporting
but the noise does change dramatically.
Also tested out this replacement of.
So that's interesting, right? It just shows you that the placement of an antenna is really quite crucial. The directionality, all these antennas are directional, but this one can be manipulated easily. Sangean's pretty good. I mean, it's not a phenomenal AM performer, but it's probably the best radio I've got, and does seem to hold up pretty well to anything else I've compared it to.
200 miles offshore. They had no choice. An unexpected storm destroys their mast.
The Tecsun, even with its internal antenna, I think does pretty well given the size of the internal antenna. So I think they're interesting radios for medium wave DXing, AM here in North America. Obviously they aren't primarily intended for that, but the Sangean, I think, isn't going to disappoint too much. But the fact that you can use the PL330 with an external antenna gives you, as I've said in an earlier video, gives you a huge amount of flexibility in a very inexpensive radio. Well, thanks for this brief listen to AM DX of AM stations here, and have a good evening.